Hello and welcome to the Relocation Specialist Training videos. This video is on tips and tricks, little things that will help you get through the software a little bit quicker. First thing we're going to look at is the Tickler. Now, one of the things that you can do when you log in is to have the Tickler opened automatically. What is the Tickler, you may ask? Well, it's a listing of everything there is to do as of today or before that has not yet been done. And some people like to log in and look at everything that needs to be done, send out their autopilots, check for meetings, and so on. Now, if you'd like to have that open each time that you log in, you'd be able to type, go to the Utility Settings page, Users, select the username that you want to edit, click Update, and answer the question here, do you want the Tickler to open each time you log in? Just simply say yes. When you do that, we'll go back to the main menu and log out. When we log in, now it takes us directly to the Referrals List page and opens the Tickler. Now what's really nice is that you can combine that with a link that's on your desktop. So if you want, we won't do it at this time, but if you wanted to, you could log in and then go to your Tools and File and Add Site to Start menu, and it would put it on your, in this case, it's the Internet Explorer browser, but it put it into the browser so that you just simply click it, and you can bypass logging in, and it'll take you right to your referrals list page. Okay, let's go to that referrals list page once again and look at a few of the settings here. First, there are radio buttons at the top of the page. We have Standard Display, Show Email Addresses, and Show Inventory List. Now, the Standard Display is what is the default, and you can see what's here. If I click Show Email Addresses, it shows the same records, the last 6 that have been entered into the database, but you'll notice that it also shows the email addresses for those people that are listed. So if I wanted to send a quick email, I could just simply click the link there. It would open up my email software, fill in the email address, and allow me to type the information and send it right out. So that's one of the reasons why we would want to show email addresses. If we click Show Inventory List, it basically just changes the order of the columns that appear on this grid, showing the transaction address here rather than a client name. We'll go back to Standard Display for right now. Now, one of the things that you may find handy is instead of looking at the last 6 records, you can show up to 200 records at a time. This may be helpful if you're looking for all of the active referrals that are assigned to a specific agent. For example, let's say we want to see everything that's assigned to David Apple that is active. So if we click Apply Filter, now instead of looking at just 6 records, we can look at all of the records assigned to that agent. So if we're talking to the agent on the phone, for example, and they want to skip around between the various assigned records, we can do that rather quickly. Now, while we're looking at this form, we may want to sort it by client name or transferee last name. Simply by clicking the column heading at the top of the page, we can sort those same records in alphabetic order. So now it makes it easy to find a specific record. If we were to click that a second time, it changes the sort order. Instead of from A to Z, changes it from Z to A. Okay, I'm going to click Reload, which kind of puts us back to the standard settings. Next, we're going to look at how to search for certain things. We did just look at how to look for all of the records for David Apple. But let's say that we wanted, instead of just actives, we wanted to see everything for David Apple that was either an in-buy or an in-list. Now you'll notice if I just click on one or the other, it selects one, but if I hold down the Control key, I can select as many individual items as I want. So let's say I want everything that's either active or assigned or closed or contract. All right, so then I click Apply Filter, and I get the results of my search criteria. Okay. Now, let's take a look at forms. When I'm looking at a specific form, it will show a form. For forms, think in terms of a specific record. So notice back here on this page, I'm looking at Sally Rogers. All right, so when I look at the forms page, I'm going to see forms just for Sally Rogers. So you'll see that the information that gets filled in here is for Sally Rogers. Okay, so forms have to do with a specific record. Now, another thing about forms is that I can either look at my favorites or I can look at all the forms. Notice that right now I'm looking at just 1 through 12 forms out of 12. Okay, so you may think, well, gee, there's only 12 forms in the whole software. Not true. If I click the button down here to show all, not just the favorites, then I'm looking at 1 through 12 out of 125. So there are quite a few. Now don't let that number overwhelm you. Many of the forms are just variations of the same form. For example, on auto assign, we have the standard form, but then we also have other versions of it where we use just the referral fee 2% or just the 3% or 1 plus 2 and so on. So yes, there are a lot of forms, but you can select which one is your favorite by going back to Utility Settings, click Favorite Forms, and here's where you would either add or delete. This is your list of favorites, so that when you're in the referrals list page and you click Forms, if you want to see just the favorites, click the button. Okay, now let's take a look at reports. For reports, you'll see that again we have radio buttons on the reports page. All right, we have favorite reports. Just like we have favorite forms, we can have favorite reports. And by the way, when you select a favorite form or a favorite report, you are selecting it for all of the people in your office using ReloSpec. Okay, it's not individual to the user, but rather to the database. Okay, so we have favorites. We also have the standard reports, advanced reports, and then some are miscellaneous, or we can look at all of them. We're going to look at one of the advanced reports just to give you an idea of some of the things that you can do. By clicking the advanced radio button and then clicking next, I find the scorecards for agent report. All right, now there are many others, and it's rather self-explanatory, but let's look at the scorecards for agent. You'll see some of the options that you have. Let's say that I want to see everything in the last year for this particular agent. We're going to select David Apple once again. And so if I select him from the drop list, and then click View Report, I'll see everything that's been assigned to David Apple in the last year. Now, these are outgoing or incoming records. Everything that has David Apple's name on it is going to be listed here for the last year. Notice that in this particular report, we see everything just for David Apple between the date range. It counts up the total that's been assigned, and it shows how many are active and what the percent is. So out of 8, David has closed 7. And notice on the right side, it does also display the percent difference between the sale price and the list price, as well as the difference between the sale price and the DMA. So very good information. But let's say we want to send a copy of this to David's manager. We can select the format. We can either use PDF, Excel, or Word, let's select PDF and click Export. Then when we export, we have our choice of either opening it or save it, and I'll just open it for right now. You'll see that this is the PDF record. Had I clicked Save, I could just save it to my PC and then attach it to an email, and David's manager would have the information. Now, all of the advanced reports that we're looking at here have this same ability to export to PDF or download them into Excel or Word. Well, I hope that you found this helpful. Remember that there are many other training videos that contain additional information you may find helpful. Thank you.